Hi everybody, welcome back to Dear Mr. DeRosa. I'm Mr. DeRosa, and this week I'm talking about a letter that came to me from Sarah. Sarah's a second-year teacher who says her last period of the day is killing her. Kids will not do things that she wants them to do, and she says they're pretty small things like sitting in the right seat and things like that. She has ended up resorting to having to kick a lot of kids out on a consistent basis. And she ends her letter saying, "The current system works for about 60% of my class. Do I completely change things around or try to proceed with smaller changes to lure some of these kids back to learning?" The thing that jumped out at me immediately from your letter, Sarah, was that your system only works for 60% of your class. Even if we're talking about 25 to 30 students, that's 8 to 10 kids who are just not getting on board with your class. And if even half of those kids are being thrown out every day, or even every other day, it's a complete recipe for disaster, and you have to stop. You have to stop cold turkey, no matter what your emotions and your mind tells you to do. Kicking kids out is obviously not working, otherwise things would be changing. So we need to approach this differently. There's a two-part approach that I want you to take. Number one is I want you to realize that the end of the day is difficult for students. They want to go home. They're tired. They've dealt with all this drama all day long, as have you. I might point out actually, and both of you, both student and teacher, are dealing with a lot of stuff at the end of the day. Sometimes it takes the form of the reaction takes the form of everybody being quiet. And sometimes it takes the form, more often than not, of people going a little crazy, like you're cooped up in a box and you need to get out, and all of a sudden everyone's claustrophobic. So your delivery of your lesson and the structure of your class during that period only might not work simply by the nature of that period. So you might have to shake things up a little bit. You might have to make things a little more lively than they might otherwise be. And even if it works that way in the other classes, you might want to watch last week's video because I think some of the same advice there definitely counts here. I think you need to consider your relationships with your students. Because if that many students are tuned out, you need to think of ways to build your relationships with them. And I suggest you look back at some of the blogs I've written previously, because I have addressed that many, many times. But that's the most important thing to solving any problems in the classroom, is building those relationships. I would also ask you to think about what are the behaviors that you're focusing on. What are you kicking students out of the classroom for? If it's because they're not sitting in their seat, that's a problem. If they're throwing things across the room and hitting people, and they're saying completely inappropriate things, maybe that would be something you might send someone out for. But if it's just because they won't sit in their seat or they're talked out of turn, you need to come up with a better way and a different way of dealing with that. And the reason is really simple. By just kicking kids out, you're sending a message to the students in the class, the good ones too, and the administrators, that you can't handle it. And that's not a message you want to send, plain and simple. The other half of your approach is going to be zeroing in on the real problem students. And this is a lot of what I talked about last week. It can't be everybody. There's no way that it's all of those students that are really at the heart of the problems. Figure out who those key students are, follow what I said in last week's video, and then you need to follow through with the administrators. They might not be following through because they've got a mountain of papers on their desk. I wonder if you've been actually going to them in person and discussing with them calmly, rationally, students that you've sent on a consistent basis whose behavior has not changed. You've contacted the parents, behavior has not changed. You've tried different things, and behavior is still not changed. Because then they'll be more willing to work with you. You also need to come up with what should they do with those students. It might be a case where you want to get a student moved to a different period of your class, or maybe to another teacher. It just might be a personality conflict that you can't solve. There are other resources when you're trying to get an administrator to take the next step and help you, to get them to take it seriously. And that's to go to other resources and show that you've done really everything you could possibly do. Beyond what you said in your letter, you can send students to the counselor to talk to a social worker on campus, to talk to your other team teachers who have those students if you have teams, or just other teachers who have them. How do they behave in that class? Who has the best rapport with them? Use that to your advantage. And of course, if they're on any kind of athletics, you need to talk to the coach. If they're in a UIL or any other type of extracurricular activity, talk to the sponsor, talk to the person in charge. You need every ally you can get. And then when you go back to your administrator and say, I tried everything and this kid just won't get on board, I think maybe it would be best for that person, that student, and for me, and the rest of my class, that they go to another teacher. We never want to give up, but we end up having, but sometimes you can't solve all the problems. That's another hard thing it's hard to admit as a core member that you can't fix everything, even though you